Welcome to People Unplugged, the podcast from the creative team at People Unboxed. I'm Westy, Digital Director at People Unboxed. This is the People Unplugged podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to the show. My guest today is a training delivery manager for Marella Cruises and TUI River Cruises at TUI UK. So if you've been on a cruise and you've had a brilliant experience, or possibly there's a chance you had something to do with that, we don't know, we'll find that out in a minute. Also a finalist at the TUI Annual Recognition Awards 2026 and was highly commended at the Trainer Star of the Year at the Cruise Awards 2025. So recognition that means even more when you know that work, or the work behind it, was a passion project that she created completely off her own back. So she's also, as we'll discover, living proof that teachers practice what they preach, which is a good thing. So Sarah, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, I'm more than happy to see you. You love that opening, right? You can think, oh, I'm going to play that back.
I've
just written your CV for you. It's like, who's he talking about?
Oh,
it's
God,
you.
it's about me.
Right. Well, I'm sure there's bits that I've missed, and you literally didn't walk into work as that person at TUI. So you've obviously been on a bit of a journey to get to where you are now. So why don't we start with that? Tell me about you and your career journey, how you've got to the role you do and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so, I mean, gosh, if we take it right back to the beginning, but I will be brief. So, I left school, and I actually went straight into sports coaching. So, absolutely love sport. And even back then, I was 16, 17 at the time and loved the idea of like helping to develop people. So I did that for a little while. I then even like dabbled in a bit of digital marketing specifically for sport, little things like that, trying different stuff, but felt like I hadn't quite found exactly what I wanted to do. And there was a job at what was at the time, of course, Thomson Holidays for a sales advisor. And I was a Thomson Holidays baby. I literally grew up with their holidays, even accidentally ended up in their brochure at one point, like pure accident, honestly.
Written.
Yeah. So the job came up and I thought, you know what, that'd be a really nice job. Applied for it, and I worked as a sales advisor for a few years before making my way to deputy manager, and then had my own lovely little store.
And these were literally high street stores then, right?
Yeah, so the sales advisor store, that was actually in the Metro Centre, which is a huge shopping centre in the northeast. But then my store was a lovely little high street shop in good old Jarrah, if people know where that is. And yeah, so COVID came along, and obviously all the stores had to close, and I kind of knew my store probably wasn't going to reopen. We were very profitable, the second most profitable store in the region, but we were a little baby store in between Metro Centre and Newcastle, two very big stores with a lot of footfall. And unfortunately, it did get closed due to COVID. So that was when I had given the opportunity of either redundancy, or you can move over to a completely different area of the business, which was contact centre. And take a step down and work as a senior, like pre-travel advisor.
Yeah.
So obviously that was very terrifying. I was like, oh my God, different areas of business, taking a step down, doing a job I don't know anything about. But I want to stay at TUI. And, that time during COVID, like there wasn't any jobs out there, was there? So took that job. And after 6 months, an opportunity in the contact centre training team came up as a training exec, so a secondment. And I thought, you know what, I've always been interested in training. Let's give it a go. So tried that. And then I was very lucky that I got made permanent as a training consultant, did that for 2 years. And that was then when this job came up for head office. And I was like, perfect. So took this, and a bit of like reflection on it. It's so funny when I look back at the moment when I got told like your store is not real.
That's the end of the world, right? And actually, it's
like, oh my God, that store is my baby. Like I love my team. Like I've worked so hard to get to this point, and I just thought what am I going to do? I've got to go to a totally different area of the business. I've got to step down. Like, it was the end of the world. I was very grateful to have a job, but to me, it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
Um, and I look back now and I'm like, thank God that happened, because had it not have happened, I don't think I would be in this role. And I may have stayed in retail, which is absolutely fine, but that probably wasn't long term where I wanted to be. And this opened up so many doors. So
Those
what
sliding
was the
doors
worst?
moments, aren't they? There's
Literally.
those sliding doors moments that we look back on,
Yeah.
because it'll be, and we'll never know. We'll never know the answer to this, but it would
No.
be really interesting to know if you were running your store with your team, happy doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
and this job came up. Would you even have
Yeah.
applied for it? We don't know. And it's like,
That's
no,
exactly
well,
it.
because it maybe at that point would feel like too big of a leap or whatever. But,
Yeah.
it's strange
100%.
how these things sort of turn out for the best.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I ended up here. And it was what at the time felt like the worst moment ever ended up being the best, like years later now, the best thing that could have happened. So yeah.
So you're heavily involved with Morella Cruises now and the River Cruises. So
Yes.
is that something you've chosen, or is that another sort of sideways sort of a bit of a tangent from where you were? How's that all come about?
So yeah, so this role specifically is the trade trainer manager role for Morella and for Two River Cruise. So my main role is helping to look after our trade, which is the likes of like Hayes Travel, Barhead, our third party agents. And I basically deliver product training to them to, hopefully encourage them to sell Morella and Two River. So that is the main part of my job.
And I'm going to have to ask this question because I'm sure other people are thinking exactly what I'm going to ask, and it's like you're training delivery manager for a cruise company.
Hmm.
Tell me that involves getting on cruise ships occasionally.
Of course it does.
It's like, no, never been. Always in an office.
No,
I mean, for people listening, they
it
must be like,
does.
sorry, you work for a holiday company. That must be the best thing in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah. It absolutely has its perks. Like because of working in this job, even when I worked in retail, we got so many opportunities to go. Like I got to go to Mauritius after working for them for 6 months. I was like, this is the best job ever. And yeah, I've had so many amazing trips because of this role, but this role in particular, I get to take agents away on trips so they can see the product and experience it themselves. And obviously, it's hard work, but it's a lovely perk to be able to be like, you know what, we're going to take you away on a VIP trip for you to experience this. I also get to go along and look
Yeah.
after you all and stuff. So yeah, there's every year we get opportunities to go away, which is really, really nice. But definitely beats being at home all the time.
I'm sure, but then I guess the flip side to that is thinking back to maybe the call center role. It holidays for most people are something they're really looking forward to, right? I mean, like unbelievable. I'm at the moment. I mean, obviously we don't know when this is actually going to go out, but right now there's holidays
Yeah,
being cancelled left, right, and centre because of
yeah.
fuel shortages and everything
Mhm.
else. There must be, and I'm assuming it was the same at COVID, as in stuff that it's out of your control, right? It is out of your control, but
Yeah,
ultimately you're also empathetic to the situation of these people have been looking forward to this for 18 months, 2 years, whatever it
yeah.
may be, and then you've almost got to say, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen now. That must be really tough to deal with at times, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, in my current role, I don't have to kind of
Yeah,
do many
sure.
of them conversations, but like you said, Westy, in my contact center role, there was a lot of that,
Yeah.
and it that was definitely the most challenging role I've ever had to do because I'm a customer as well. That
Yes.
book holidays, save for holidays. Holidays are a luxury and they can cost a lot of money, and money is also different to each person. A holiday that might be £500 could be a lot for someone that's paying
Mm.
£5,000. It doesn't matter, and they mean a lot to people. And that was definitely something that you've got to navigate through, and something I used to train the contact center staff on, of that empathy of I know this is personally out of your control. You're not wanting to cancel this person's holiday, but they are understandably going to be upset, and we have to understand why and how we
Mm.
help them kind of navigate through that. And like you said, everything that's happening at the minute, there's a lot of heightened emotions over that. TUI, thankfully, are being incredible. No flights have been cancelled,
Yeah.
but I understand why people are nervous, and it's very difficult for people that have to have them conversations with customers, but customers understandably, holidays are so important. It's like what sometimes the only time of the year they get to relax.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
trust me, my wife and I, we were in, we did a, God blimey, I'm going to go through my whole holiday so far this year, and bear in mind we're only in what, May. But since my daughters have gone off to university, we started to look at things and think, actually, we could go there for a few days. So we went. So far we've done like I say long weekends, but they're not sort of midweek. So like 3-4
Yeah.
days max. And we've done Seville. We went to Krakow 2 weeks ago. And we've got we almost think that's fine. What else have we got planned for later this year? And you need 2 or 3 things planned for later this year. And we're in a fortunate position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But honestly, you think, well, I say that, but sometimes it actually cost us more money if we stayed at home and did nothing than we did if we actually went. Do you know what I mean? So
it does.
I totally get it. It really is that escape. It's like, yes, we're working hard at the moment, but look what we've got in 2 months' time, or look
That's
what we've got
exactly
in
it.
6 months' time. So no, I totally get it. It's so important.
Yeah.
However, we're not here to talk about any of that. We're here to talk about, well, it was lovely to talk about that stuff.
It was.
Tell me about believe in your pitch. I'm going to say no more than that, other than throw it. So it is believe in your
God,
pitch is something
pressure.
that is it fair to say something you never done before? Is outside of your normal role, and you basically pitch the idea of a pitching course to your boss. How scary was that moment, first and foremost, and I guess secondly, what made you do it anyway?
Yeah. So the believe in your pitch is an idea I had. Gosh, nearly like well over a year and a half ago now, nearly 2 years, and it actually resonated from we do our annual TUI conference every year, and we have a lot of staff, all the retail staff, the retail managers and everything that come to that. But this year in particular, we were having even more departments attend, so it was like over 1,000 colleagues were coming, which is a lot. So we have usually a small group of trainers, we all work together, but this year we were like, we need more than the normal size. And I've checked and he doesn't mind, even because I've spoke about him loads because of this anyway. But we have our training exec in the team called Mike, and he is kind of like works in the background. If you know insights, leads
Yeah,
very blue energy, very
well,
data
all the best people are,
analytical.
Sarah. All the
Of
best.
course, I mean I am not
Absolutely.
that person, but
Trust me, I
I
am.
respect it.
On a scale, I think they say here on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 15 in terms of blue. So
I love that.
structure and order, that's my thing. Anyway, carry on.
And yeah, my manager asked Mike, would you be comfortable helping us do this? And Mike hadn't had much kind of presenting experience, never
Mhm.
mind do 1,000 people. I mean, even for an
That's a
experienced
tough
trainer,
gig.
that is like, I was terrified. So I couldn't imagine how he would
Mm.
feel. And I said I would work with Mike and we would present together. Now I will not take any credit for what Mike did. Mike absolutely smashed it. He was incredible, and I was just there as support basically. So I saw that journey he went through, and I was like, if Mike, our analytical data amazing colleague, can do this,
Yeah.
why can't other people just learn the skill of public speaking? Because I mean, you'll know this as well, Westy. Like you'll have meetings, you'll be chucking ideas around, and sometimes the quietest person on that call or in the meeting might actually have the best idea, but they're too
Yeah.
scared to speak up.
Yep.
And it's purely just thinking as a life skill, how can we help? How can I help people come across that fear? So I went to my amazing manager, Liz, and I said, look, Mike has inspired me. I would like to do this for other colleagues in our department, not trainers. It could be people working on systems and finance, anything. What do you think? And she was like, hell yeah.
I love
Let's
it.
do it.
Because
Yeah.
ultimately, let's just take that back a step. Because what you just said there, and I'm nodding along and smiling. Yes, I present for a living, or facilitate for a
Yeah.
living is probably a better way of
Yeah.
putting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, I'm in the same boat. But I genuinely believe it's a skill like you can teach any other skill, right? So if you know, this is such a peek behind the curtain for people listening, because you've got two trainers on here talking about it, going, "Oh my god, I was so nervous." So honestly, when
Yeah.
I walk into a session, they're like, "It's all right for you because you like this stuff," and you think, "Do you not think how
No,
nervous we get?" You know,
no,
it's like, yeah,
it
but you
never
can't see it,
goes.
and you think, no, you're absolutely right, you can't see it, and the reason you can't see it is you haven't seen the 3 weeks worth of prep before this
Yeah.
in front of my mirror, and you don't know how I'm feeling inside. You don't know that I've got here at 7 o'clock in the morning for a 9 o'clock start, because you know what, I need to make sure the HDMI cable works, and if it doesn't, I've got three other ones in my bag.
Yeah.
It's all of those things that people don't necessarily see,
100%.
but those are all skills that we can absolutely teach people as well. So it's not,
Yes.
I think so, I'm sorry if I'm not putting words in your mouth here, but for me it's, you're not teaching people how to not be nervous when they're presenting. You're teaching people how to
Mm.
manage those nerves when they're
Oh,
presenting. Does that make
it's exact,
sense?
exactly. It's exactly that, because when we started the course, I said to them all, please do not ever think that I don't get anxious or
I love that.
nervous when I'm presenting. That is not the case. I will have the element of that every single time, but I know what helps me calm the nerves. I know how to make it not come across, and it will gradually get easier. It will never
Yeah.
fully go, but it gets easier.
You
And
almost
it's
don't
how
want
you
it to,
manage
do you?
it.
If
No,
it
because
went
it feels
away,
like you
if
care.
right, agreed.
Yeah.
If you think you could just pitch up without even looking at the script or without looking, I go, oh, I know this, it'll be all right anyway. That, I'd hate to think I'd ever get to that level where
No.
I'm so. I mean, ironically, I end up delivering the same sessions over and over again, and I'll still
Hmm.
look at the script 2 days before, and I'll still
Yeah.
look at the slides that morning
Oh,
and think, you're going to say exactly what you say every time. But it's
yeah.
that safety net. Again, you're right, it's managing it, isn't it? It's managing those nerves so that you, and they do, it's the first time they've seen it. You may have delivered it 30 times, but they don't know
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. And if something goes wrong, they don't know it's gone wrong. So,
No,
because they've not seen it
there is
before.
also that advantage.
So
Yeah,
you can wing it and it's fine.
yeah. No, that's really nice to hear, because I think a lot of people don't see that, and they think we're sort of born as these people who want to stand in front of everyone and give it the but I don't think that's
It's
true
not.
necessarily. It's a skill the same as anyone else. Anyway, back to your story.
Yeah,
You said we
so
wouldn't have anything to talk about. You know you can't keep me quiet, so away you go.
yeah, so presented it to Liz. She was like, yes, like make a start, get an idea together. So I then presented it to the managers in the departments and said, do you think this is something any of your team members would be interested in? And thankfully they were like, absolutely, already got people we could think that would really benefit from this. So it ended up being a 6 month course where we would meet we did 4 or 5 sessions. Um, and each session was obviously on a different kind of area of presenting. So the first session was purely about creating a safe space, because I was very aware the people that were putting themselves forward for this were maybe a little bit more introverted,
Yep.
or they were quite nervous putting themselves in this position anyway. So it was, we're going to be working through this together. I need you to be comfortable with me. I need you to be comfortable with each other. So that first session was purely about creating that safe space. And then it was, presenting virtually, presenting face to face, because they're two completely different things. How to help create engaging content, body language, like tone of voice, and even stuff like meditation. We did meditation of how to help calm
Yeah.
them nerves, like little practices and exercises. And yeah, so it was 6 months and they all absolutely smashed it, which still now, it's been a year and a half since it finished. And still now, I see them presenting, and they say themselves it's something they would never have put themselves forward to do before, and now yes, they still get nervous, but they're happy to put themselves into that position now, whereas they wouldn't have done it before. And it's been without a doubt the most rewarding thing I've ever done at work. And even though it was completely outside of my job role, it was trying to find the time to do it with my day to day. I'm so happy I did it because
That's
it was
fantastic.
amazing. And I learned a lot from it as well because I'd never delivered that sort of training before. So I learned a lot from it too, which was great.
And there's a bit of a jigsaw that we're missing, right? So tell me about Ted Lasso and where he fits in.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, yeah, oh, that's a big part of it missing. So, how does he come into all of this? So, essentially, this big conference that we did, where, like I said, my lovely colleague Mike worked with me and smashed it. That was based on leadership, and we basically had to come up with an idea of how do we make this engaging? How do we train people on leadership and make it engaging? And I remember I'd watched Ted Lasso. It's one of my favourite shows ever. I just think it's so, so good. And I remember sitting on this idea for a few days thinking, oh, do I say it? Do I not? And I remember approaching Liz and saying, I think we should theme it on this show called Ted Lasso. And she's like, what on earth are you on about? So I tell her why. And I say, Ted Lasso, this character, is one of the most inspiring leaders I think you can
Yep.
see character wise on TV or film. Like, he's so inspiring. Said people don't need to have seen the show. We can bring it to life that it makes sense and it just makes it more memorable. And she was like, you know what? Again, she was like, let's do it. So we did that with the conference. And my presenting course was then like a couple of months after that. So the topic thankfully landed really well and was kind of a lot of people were resonating with it and it was still being talked about. So I thought it makes sense to link it all back to that, to the theme, because it seems people are loving it, which is really great. So linked it kind of back to Ted Lasso for the presenting. And, like you said, like at face value, it seems like a bit of an odd reference. He's an American football coach that gets asked to come to England to coach football. It doesn't really scream on face value like leadership, presenting, but it's about the mindset. And what he models so well is, how to show up when you're under pressure, when you're out of depth, when you're being judged. And, that's how a lot of people feel when presenting. And traditionally, like presenting framework, it's quite a could be quite a strict structure on slides, all that. And actually what I really wanted to get across to the group is linking it back to Ted. It's not about kind of that framework. It's more about that connection and how you build the connection with people. It's about turning up, being authentic. And Ted Lasso in the show very much does that. And, not reading from a script, not being a robot, bring your personality to this. That's what people want to see. That's how they're going to connect with you. And yeah, just all these like values he has and linked in with all the quotes from the show. Like there's so
And
many
there's so
amazing
many,
quotes.
right?
Oh, they're so good. And my favorite one that I linked in with all of this was taking on a challenge is a lot like riding a horse. If you're comfortable while doing it, you're probably doing it wrong. And I just think that
That's
summarizes it
lovely.
so well. Like I kept saying that to them. I was like, you're going to have discomfort. As long as it's something you want to do and you feel uncomfortable, it means you're stretching yourself. That's part of like that growth. It's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're wanting to succeed and you're pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone. So it's all just like linking back to the character, the quotes, the values. And yeah, it made sense, thankfully.
How did you research it, Sarah? Did you have to go back and watch it all and pull out quotes?
Oh yeah, it was hard market like research for. I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna have to rewatch
I can imagine a
it.
conversation with Liz. What are you doing today? Yeah, I'm watching series 2, episode 4.
Yeah, thankfully I did do it in my own time. I do promise that. But yeah, it was yeah, just finding little ways to link it in, and it just helps like make it more memorable because they then can remember that quote and remember this particular scene that we've showed, and it just helps it stick in their brains a little bit more. So
So did you
yeah.
actually show them bits of the show in the course?
Yeah. Yeah, so a clip that is one of my absolute favorites is in the show, if you've not seen it before, there's the director of the football club is a very incredible woman, woman leader. She's amazing. And it shows this a scene, for example, where she's very nervous. She's having to go out and do something that she's not comfortable with. And you can see she's kind of like folding in on herself. And what she does is she stands up tall in the mirror, and she kind of, I'm not going to do it because I can't do it, but she like makes herself big and strong and like kind of like roars at herself in the mirror.
Right.
And then she sees her younger self looking back at her, feeling strong, and she's like, I can do this. And it's little clips like that where we were putting them in just again to make it more memorable, to make them kind of resonate with the show and the characters, to be like, we got this big, strong, powerful woman who also still gets scared, who gets nervous, but actually she has her moment and then she goes out and smashes it. So we use loads of different clips like that.
Where did the Believe poster come in? That must have, at some point, you must have. Tell me you had one again above the door.
Yeah, so what we did, so obviously that's where the Believe in your pitch, that's how it came up with the name of the course. Believe, Ted says, I believe and believe. So that was, we use that a lot. But actually for the annual conference for the leadership, what we did is we got every retail store to get a Believe sign, and they put it in their shops, obviously in the back rooms.
Sure.
Customers would be like, what's happening here? And again, referencing back to that, tapping it when they feel like they need that bit of extra belief energy. And we gave them little belief key rings and stuff that they can have. So yeah, it all linked back in to that Believe kind of message.
So this sounds too good to be just something you need to bottle this. You need to do this as a get Jason Sudeikis over, whatever his name is, and basically coming out. But what we're saying is, it's just like, it's so transferable. It's so, I can imagine it. When people come on a course, they've got this perception of, especially something we're talking about here, which is about delivery and about facilitating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No one's going to put a hand up and say, I'm terrible at that, I really want to come on this course, and feel really awkward, because ultimately it's just really hard, right?
Yeah, of course.
But to then turn up and the way you've pitched that, and the way that you've used those memorable things and the quotes and the Believe, and it almost feels, fair play to you and Tui, but it almost feels too good to be just an internal course. You want to be entering awards for this stuff, I'm telling you. No, honestly, I think it's fantastic. I think it's really, really lovely. And the Believe thing is, for those who haven't seen the show, the Believe thing is one of those things that is a thread that runs throughout the show. I think I'm right in saying it's torn down 2 or 3 times and it goes back up again. And there's so much. There's so much in there about setbacks and how you bounce back from setbacks, or how something's happened that you weren't expecting. You go, but it's okay. We can let's go again.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And there is like scenes that happen in the show when they even Ted Lasso, the leader, he tears it up, and I think at one point the team put it back together for him to show that they believe in him. And it's like, it's just so good.
It's so powerful, isn't it? It's so powerful. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you know what? That's better than I thought. When Richard, one of our colleagues, said, "Oh, you need to speak to Sarah about this Ted Lasso course," I said, "What are we talking about?" But honestly, it's so good. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
That's brilliant. Love it. So, and it's probably fair to say, so much more than a traditional presentation skills course. It'll be more memorable for those people. I'm sure they remember quotes and all of the rest of it. So anyway, God, look at the time. Wow, we're nearly at half hour.
It's flying over.
No, that's all good. I feel that by asking these questions and by getting your answers, we're starting to learn a little bit about you anyway, and the sort of character you are. I know you're quite into your running, and you mentioned sport earlier on. But you've had a bit of a setback recently with the sort of was it Manchester Marathon you were training for and you couldn't then do? So, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I'd love to hear. It tells us a bit about you and your running as much as anything else.
Yeah, so I love running. Running's a like huge, huge part of my life. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm very good at it, but I'm not the fastest person, but I love it. And yeah, it's I did the Manchester Marathon last year, and I say I loved it. You have a love-hate relationship with marathons. So did it last year, got the bug, literally whilst I was lying in bed, couldn't move the next day. I was booking on for the following year. Um and I signed up, obviously, and started my training end of December. So it's like over 4 months of training. And yeah, you absolutely invest. Like it becomes your entire life, really. Early mornings,
Mm.
miss social plans, everything builds around it. It kind of becomes a part of your identity because it's just everything you do is built around your marathon training. And about a month before I was due to do the race, I was doing a different race as part of my training block. And I wasn't able to finish it because I had this injury flare up. And I think I knew then that something wasn't quite right and had
Yeah.
this kind of like deep down feeling of maybe this isn't going to happen. But
You don't want to hear
as you
that though,
do,
right?
no. And as like a lot of runners do, is they're like, no, 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 I'm going to keep running. It's fine. Um, and then, unfortunately, a week before, I kind of thought I need to go to a physio and say what's happening here. And he was like, absolutely not. Unfortunately, the marathon is a no go, and you can't run for a little while. And again, some people will think, great news, you don't have to run 26 miles. like surely that's good. Why are you so upset about not doing that? But it
Yeah.
was heartbreaking. You put so much into it and you make so much sacrifice that to be told that, especially a week before, you're just like, I can't believe this is happening. um but it ended up, even though I'm still heartbroken, I couldn't do it. I still went. My fiance was running it and his brother was running it. So I still went on the day. And instead of being on the start line, I just went along to support. And I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this fully. So I had a backpack, like a hiker's backpack. It was so heavy, full of Lucozade bottles, tubs and tubs of Haribo. Um, and I thought, I'm just going to stand there all day, give out drinks, give
Oh, it's
out
so neat.
sweets, scream the names. I lost my voice completely. And it ended up being one of the most rewarding days like I could have had. And I think like looking back on it, yes, I was heartbroken, but actually I was still able to go. And had I just sat at home, I would have
Yeah.
been far more miserable. And actually going there and turning up, but in a slightly different way, meant I ended up having like the best day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been tough, but that actually helped me get over it a little bit. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
I
lovely
love
day.
that. Love that, and you know you'll get there. You've got your plan. You
We'll
know you're
get
going to get
there.
there at some point.
Yeah.
Final question, same question I ask everyone as a final question, and you might have
Oh,
already alluded
okay.
to some of that stuff. So, what's your ultimate weekend look like?
Oh, my, this is where I'm going to sound so boring. My ultimate
No,
weekend.
we'll be the judge of that.
No, so my ultimate weekend is waking up on a Saturday morning and doing park run. And then you've done park run, have to go get breakfast somewhere because otherwise, what was the point of doing park run? Get some breakfast. When the football season is on, then going to a Newcastle game on a Saturday
So, do
afternoon.
you live in Newcastle? Do you?
Yeah, well, I live in Durham, so just like
Okay, so
next to it.
okay, yeah, I know Durham. So, parkrun in Durham.
Yes, so my local park, my local
Okay,
one,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know if they did one
yeah,
in
and then
Newcastle along the waterfront or anything
oh
like.
no, that would be nice, but no, it's just the
Okay.
local park here. Yeah, go to a Newcastle match, get some food, have a couple of pints, and then the Sunday chill, read a book, watch some telly. That for me is just like go to the cinema if there's a good film on. That for me is like perfect weekend.
You said it sounds boring. It sounds good to me. I mean, yeah, anything where you can relax a bit. Fair play to you. Yeah, that sounds great. I
Yeah.
was going to ask you who's going to replace Eddie Howe as your manager, but we won't go there because this is like a podcast for.
Oh no. I love Eddie. I'm Team Eddie. Give him a chance.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, I'm an Ipswich Town season ticket holder, Sarah. So trust me, we had a very, very
Nice.
good week celebrating last Saturday again
Oh my
because
God.
we go up
It's
every
so
season now. It's
exciting.
just the way we work. So
You just need to stay there. You just need to stay
just for one season, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, just if we can do that, I'll be a happy man. Right, listen,
I love it.
time's running away as it always does. Sarah, thank you so much for giving up your time. Thanks for
Oh,
sticking with
thank you.
putting yourself out there where we both know we're nervous and we think we're going to make mistakes, but we haven't. If people want to carry on a conversation with you, if people want to find out more about the work you're doing, where's the best way to contact you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn if you
Brilliant.
want to drop, like, find out. I don't know why you'd want to, but if you did,
Oh, come
then
on.
feel free. Yeah, so just if you want to have a chat,
Because
have a
they
chat.
want to tap you up to do a Ted Lasso course for them. That's why. I'll leave you to have that conversation with Liz and think about how you invoice all that out. That's not a conversation for me to get involved with. So, Sarah, thanks so much. I'm going to play the outro and I'll catch you on the other side. Thanks again for your time. It's been wonderful talking
Thank
to you.
you. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us today. Feeling curious to learn more about how we help people remember stuff? Well, why not sign up for a free trial of our AI-powered bite-sized learning app, BentoBot? You can do that easily at bentobot.com. And you can catch up on interviews with all of our previous guests by subscribing to this pod via Apple Podcasts or any podcast platform. Till next time, take care.